Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Deborah Zara Kobylt, and I welcome you today to our Little Italy of Los Angeles podcast. A phenomenal guest that we have with us, Michael Cavalieri. Michael, thank you so much for being here.
Ciao a tutti, grazie. It's an honor for me to be here today. Thank you so much.
It is such an honor. You have such great energy. Just speaking to you, I just want to smile. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Michael, you've done a phenomenal film that we're going to talk about, Ritornato. You're going to tell us what that's about.
Ritornato, yes.
Ritornato. A fantastic film that takes us back to Sicily and takes us back to, I guess, to your roots. It's pretty much an autobiography, right, in a way.
Yes. Yes.
You know, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. You've been in all sorts of things for anyone who recognizes Michael. The Next Karate Kid. You've been in The Sopranos. You've been in so much, Michael. So we're going to get into your very esteemed careers. So we're just thrilled to have you here. Tell me a little bit about what is this latest film about and why'd you do it?
Ritornato is based on a true story of an experience that I had going back to my homeland, Sicily, in Limina, my grandfather's ancestral town. It was a dream to do this. After I lost my parents and my sister, I was lost a little bit and I needed to find something to fill me up again. So I asked my wife if she would come with me to Sicily to look at the town, to find something, just to walk in the steps. And when I got there, as soon as I saw the sign, Deborah, Limina, I broke down in tears.
Oh, I understand.
I felt like I was home, that this is where I should be. And often people say they feel honored. I feel so honored that they accept me as one of their own. And I revere the people there, the Sicilian people in Limina, Santa Teresa. So I had this amazing experience that nobody in my family knew about. I met somebody that we didn't know existed. And at that moment, I was standing in the cemetery in Limina, and I said to myself, this needs to be a movie. So I never wrote before. I was an actor, as you mentioned. I never directed anything in my life. So I started to write. And yet I don't write on a computer like a normal person. I write in pen, whatever. So I drove my wife crazy when she had to type it for me. But I wrote this story. And then I went back the following year and I met a gentleman there named Fabrizio. Fabrizio and I went up to Limina and I said, this is what I want to shoot. Everybody told me I was crazy. Everybody told me, you can't shoot anything in Sicily. You can't do this in Sicily. You can't do that. I said, I'm going to do it. And in my heart and soul, I felt it was my duty as to my grandfather, to my mother, to our roots. It was an homage to them. So when I came back, I wrote the rest of the story and I had a full-length feature written with New York and Sicily. And I said, wow, how am I going to afford to do this? This is going to be tremendously expensive. So I thought to myself, why don't I find a way to make it a little bit smaller? So I constructed just mostly of Limina. And then I was lucky enough to, I submitted to a grant and the NIAF, the National Italian American Foundation, the Russo brothers, who are the directors of Avengers Endgame and run all the Marvel movies. Yeah, huge. So they afforded me a grant and, I was able to go shoot. Now, the grant was small, but it got me there. It got me to the place I needed to be. And then I took the rest of it, my own money. And we shot for 4.5 days, 5 days in Limina and Santa Teresa, Savoca, around the area. And there was no actors, it was just people from the town. And my cousin Turi, who was marvelous, who I met the first time I was there. And
that's interesting.
So
really? So you never knew your cousin before until you got there.
Yeah, so this was, now think about it, this was 10 years previous. So I met him 10 years ago and I kept going back. And it started to grow and it grew in my heart and I became close with him. And I needed to go to Sicily every year to feel like I was close to my mother, close to my grandfather, close to my roots. That's my soul. And So I said, cousin, I said, cugino, I said, we're going to do a movie. He goes, okay, I'm ready. So they probably all thought I was crazy because I'm saying we're going to do this movie and we're going to do it here. And so when I arrived to do the movie, he said he was totally prepared when I would talk to him on Facebook and Messenger. I got it, cousin. No problem. No problem. He owns a panini truck. So he works out of a panini truck. So every time I go to Sicily, the first thing I do is go to his panini truck. And I go and he goes, I have script, cugino. I have script. And he goes, I read for you. And he reads and he's totally wrong. It's a total mess.
Oh, no. Wait a minute. But did you put him in anyway?
Of course. So what we did was with the rest of the actors, we rehearsed a few days and we became really, really friendly, like family. And we ate together, had breakfast together, celebrated a little bit together. And there we were. So now knowing I don't know how to direct or hadn't directed before, I needed to create this relationship with them so they would be able to trust me. And so that's what I did to build friendships and trust. And then when the cameras went on, they were absolutely incredible. The boy who played me
runs in the family, right, Michael?
Grazie, signorina. Thank you. The boy who played Federico is a movie star. He didn't speak English when I met him. After 5 days, he was speaking perfect English, and he was incredible. And so we're like father-son now, and older brother, younger brother, and we talk all the time. And everybody in Limina, everybody in Santa Teresa, we talk all the time, and we're like a big extended family. And we have here in America, just to share this with you, is that there's many people, descendants in Limina, in New York City, in the Bronx. And I was very, very lucky to screen for them this film, and they were just totally, totally blown away. So to them, I love you. Thank you so much.
You know, let's take it back a little bit to your mother, Mary, and Grandpa. It does really pull the rug out from under you, right? The level of grief. I sometimes say, I think we talked about this on the phone, I sometimes wonder if Italians grieve even harder, because when you lose your family, you lose your mom, you lose everybody, you're just sort of alone at sea. I know, because I've been there in the past few years, and you just sort of spiral and you think, who am I and where am I? And I did a very similar thing 2 years ago. I went back to where they're all from, in the Avellino region, and met them all for the first time, all of them. And they also welcomed me with open arms. They're very loving and kind, and we're friends to this day. And I want to go back as soon as COVID is over. The first place I'm going is to see my family. But what is it that happens? Of course, maybe I'll head over to Sicily and meet your family too, because I would actually love to do that. Because I know how it is. If it's your family, it's my family, and vice versa.
I'll host you. Don't worry.
I know you will too. What is it that happens, the level of grief, you know, because we are Italian Americans, and that tie is always pulling us back to Italy, even though we weren't born there, right? What do you think about that?
Yes. So for me personally, I can only speak for me and how I see it. And I was very close to my mother. It was extremely, extremely close relationship. And I think in the Sicilian family, Italian family, this is a big, big centerpiece. She was an amazing woman. She died very young. So I held that in my heart for many years. It was hard for me to get over. I was a young man, maybe 19 years old. Oof. It's still, I still miss moments. And with my grandfather, I spent a lot of time in the garden with him. He didn't speak any English, so he would make a gesture, put his cap on my head, give me, pinch my cheek, give me a kiss. And then I knew exactly what he was saying. So those people were momentous in my life and left a mark on me. And I believe a very, very positive mark. And so I think you want to reach back and kind of scrape through and find if you can get a feeling back or a closeness. As I said in my movie, I felt like I was close to them again. I was walking in his footsteps and being close to my mom. So I think that's something that even today, some young Italian Americans or Sicilian Americans may forget that they need to go back. And that's my message, is that we all need to go back to a place where it all started. Because my grandfather struggled, like many grandfathers, Italian Americans, Sicilian Americans, struggled to come here, to give you and I a better life. And sometimes the generations so sometimes generations younger and even my generation forget that. So I felt like I just wanted my mother's memory to stay alive. In any way I can honor it, and my grandfather. So for me, and I believe for you, and everybody else, we have a very, very close relationship, and we just want to feel warm again. We want to take away some of the pain and be free. So since I've been to Limina, since I have done this film, my world has opened up tremendously with unbelievable people all over the world. I've been Texas, Instagram. I mean, all over the world, people from Limina are calling me and telling me, Michael, you're wonderful. Thank you so much. And I'm like, no. Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you for giving
Michael,
this to me.
When you went there, I mean, you're a famous guy, right? In fact, I did the interview over at CNN for The Karate Kid. I interviewed the star there, and I may have interviewed you as well. I don't remember because it came out a while ago. Wonderful. And that was such a spectacular film. You're a well-known guy. What did they think when you showed up? Did they know about you or not?
No, I'll tell you a quick story. I went there with my translator, and we were in Taormina, this beautiful resort, and, maybe an hour away from Limina. And I said, Vincenzo, I said, can you please take me to Limina? He's like, who goes to Limina? Nobody goes to Limina. He goes, I said, I go to Limina, right? I go, my grandfather's from there. I just want to see the town. He goes, okay, we go. I knew no one. Nobody knew me. No one. So when I went into this little municipal building, which is about 3 people, and the town is probably like 500 people, an old lady heard my name, heard Alla Brandi. That's my grandfather's name. She goes to me, un momento, she says. And 2 minutes later, a guy walks in, and it's Turi. And he says to me, who's Alla Brandi? I said, me. He goes, come with me. And there's the story. And then all of a sudden, through that meeting and then meeting his father, meeting all these people, I realized, oh my God, this is my family. So then and now they realized that I never said anything about being an actor. I don't talk about that. It was really, I just wanted to be with them. And all of a sudden, when we connected on Facebook and they looked me up like, oh my God, Cugino, So then we talk. Now when I go back, obviously people know, a little bit about my history, but it's more about, I always defer. It's more about them and what I wanted to present to them with my film and to honor them for allowing me to be part of this culture. So to me, that's more important than anything I'll ever do. So I'm grateful to be in the next Karate Kid, to star in that, and I'm grateful to be in anything. And it's so nice that it affords me to be, it opens doors a little bit for me now to talk to people and young kids. So that's wonderful. But, Sicily is very, very disconnected, so they don't really know much. But now with Facebook and Instagram, they can kind of latch on and call me and we talk. So it's a little different now than it was 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, you go to Sicily and it's still very much back in the day, which is what makes it beautiful. I've interviewed quite a few people from Sicily, and the only issue is it's very hard for young people to make a living there, so they leave, right? Yes. But it still has that beautiful family feel, as you said to yourself. You walk into the municipal building, it's like, oh, come on in. When we were in Avellino, or more like San Barbato and Montecozati, we were looking for my mom's side. And it seemed as though everybody just opened their doors. And it's the same way. People really want to help Italian Americans find their roots and who they are. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. It's just, I never forget what my cousin said to me. He said, I always think that we have family in America. He goes, but I never think you come today. And I thought that was a profound statement. And it's in my film, and it's a beautiful statement. And to think that we have family many years ago that maybe went down by a donkey, how many hours, and go somewhere to cross a country where they don't speak the language, and on a boat and go across the country just to try to have a better life and to build what the Sicilians did and the Italians did. They built New York. They built San Francisco. Yeah. They were the ones that made the subways. They were the ones that did everything. And people forget this. This is why I'm so against the mafiosi. I'm so against that stuff. That's just one faction of this culture. But think about the unbelievable, Deborah, the unbelievable chefs, artists, writers, actors, the greatest movies of all time. Yeah. We're top. So why don't we go back to that and tell stories about that? That's what I'm trying to do, and that's my passion. I belong to this, I'm an ambassador for this beautiful, beautiful culture group called Splendid Sicily, and they're very dear to me, and I'm going to actually do a show with them next week. They're incredible. It's the best cultural museum in the world for Sicily. So if anybody needs that, contact me at Ritornato. I will lead you. I will take you. And these are things that what you're doing is so special because you're bringing me here to be able to express something that I've done. So I thank you for that. And we all have to do that for each other. You know, work together.
We're all in this together. I mean, you know, many Sicilians came down to the port in San Pedro, as you know, which is why they designated that area in particular to be the Little Italy of Los Angeles. They're still they're there. The descendants are there. So it's a very highly populated area of Sicilians and Italians. So we're all sort of helping each other find who we are, where we're from, which is beautiful. Let's talk a little bit about some of the spectacular films that you've been involved with, okay? My Brother Jack, The Stonecutter, please, takes my breath away. Street Sweeper. Can we talk about those three in particular very briefly, if you would?
Il Fratello Giacchino, My Brother Jack, was a Sicilian film made by a Sicilian director who has since passed away. All shot in America, all shot in New York, but we shot in Los Angeles, but all takes place in New York. And it's about four brothers who are struggling with the loss of their father. We all immigrated together from Sicily and came to America, and he worked on the railroad and he died in a railroad accident. So that film won the Naples Film Festival. We won the Hamptons Film Festival. We won the Italian Film Festival. I starred opposite the young man from Cinema Paradiso, and also Freddie Rodriguez, who's had an Emmy nomination. We all play brothers in this film. I play a singer, a blues singer. So it's really interesting to me.
Which film is that one?
That's My Brother Jack. My Brother Jack.
We're still on My Brother Jack. But you know, down in San Pedro this weekend, we're having like a film festival, outdoor drive-in, if you will, and we're showing Cinema Paradiso on Saturday night. If anybody wants to come, by the way, I'd love to invite you. How fun!
It's one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh!
So
it still brings tears to my eyes.
Yeah, it's and actually on my film review, they mentioned me very nicely. They said it's similar. It brings back memories of Cinema Paradiso. So I'm humbled to say that I didn't say those words. Somebody else did, but I'm flattered by them.
Of course.
Also, I did a movie called The Stonecutter, which is a tremendous film that won the Santa Barbara Film Festival, won the Italian Film Festival, won the Method Film Festival. And The Stonecutter is about an Italian family in Chicago. It's about a young man who's estranged from his family because his father didn't follow through on something, and he leaves and he goes into the military. He comes back when his father's ill, and he revisits his father, and they try to mend fences. And it's all based around the craft of stone cutting. And when his father dies, the father asks his son to promise to make his grave. I was highly reviewed by Kevin Thomas in the LA Times in the calendar section. It's a tremendous, tremendous film, and I love that film. It's one of my favorite films. And also a beautiful film called The Street Sweeper, which was based on an opera that the gentleman, James, directed. The director lives in San Diego, so we shot that all in San Diego. And it's based on an opera, and it's a father and son story. And it's an amazing, amazing story. It's a very timely story, actually. It deals with homelessness, and a young boy gets killed by a homeless man. So it's a very, really timely, beautiful story that we won all these festivals. That particular film, the Street Sweeper, won the Salento Film Festival in Italy, and also won the Italian Film Festival. So I tried my best to stay with family-themed movies and try to stay away from the mafiosi, even though, you know, earlier on in my career, I was trying to get a job. They were like, no, this is the part. I'm like, no, I want to do this. So it was a struggle, and it's hard to make money doing these smaller independent films. But if you feel truthful and honest to yourself, then you must follow that. So that's what I did.
Did you always want to be an actor? And how did your Italian roots and grandpa, mom, how did they sort of help fuel your hard work ethic? Because you're a hardworking guy and you stay true to what's meaningful to you.
Well, I was always an athlete. I was a pretty good athlete. Went to college on a full scholarship, played football. Oh. So I was always a worker, you know, since I was a young kid. But, you know, the will of my mom and the will of my grandfather, seeing him around town, and how without speaking the language, people would follow him. He was revered. He was like they called him the mayor of Whitestone. He was like, everywhere he went, Agatino, Agatino. And I would watch this, and I was like, I want to be like him. He never said anything. He had never had a negative thing to say. He was always beautiful, always respectful, always honorable with his actions. And I wanted to be that person. And my mother was the same. And my mother raised and sacrificed for her family many times. And when she was sick, there were incredible moments of conversation that I'll always remember forever. So I carried that with me. So that instilled in me the will and the want to do something better. So that's what I've been trying to do. And I try to do that in my work as an actor and in my personal life with my friends and fans. I always try to inspire and try to move forward and push through things. So that's where I got that from.
Your wife and her family also from Italy, correct?
My wife's father is from Puglia. The mother is Irish. She's from America. So we don't really acknowledge that sometimes, but we try. Every once in a while we'll say it, but mostly we deal with the half side that's in Puglia. No, yeah, they're from Mola de Bari. And my wife is a very, 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 and to add on to that, she allows me to be who I want to be. She allows me to do the things that I want to do. And she was a big, big part of Ritornato, not only being a brilliant, beautiful actress, but she produced it. She was the costume designer. She was the hairdresser. She was the person with the food. She put the production schedule together. So without her, this doesn't get done. So,
I want to give a shout out to her because I know she's somewhere in the room. Without her, nothing, it wouldn't have gotten done. But how nice that it was a family affair, because this was a family movie bringing you back. You needed to do this, right? Like so many of us, right?
Absolutely.
Quick question before I let you go. I have a couple questions, but aren't you trying also to claim your Italian citizenship as well since all this happened? Tell me about that.
Let me correct you on that. I'm trying to claim my Sicilian citizenship, but yes, yes, I am. I'm working on that right now. We're in the process, and there's so many, different things. The I on Alabrandi was I, but when they wrote it in the, in the records, the Americans wrote E, and Mary's Maria. It's Grandpa Agatino was Agatino Cateno from Sicily. Now he's Charlie in America. So there's all these things that you're dealing with to kind of dot the I's and put that together. But slowly we work through it.
That's right. Because I'm about to embark on the same thing. And it's complicated, as we all know, right? Yes, initially, you had to go through your paternal side. And I believe that they've changed that now. In fact, I did a podcast for that, for Little Italy, Los Angeles. And I have to go back and revisit that and talk to some of the same people, because this is very important for those of us who are very inspired to do it. Go see your film. By the way, when can we see your film? Because I know right now it's just sort of the talk of many of the film festivals, but when can we get a chance to see it?
Well, we're gonna talk to a few people. We're thinking we're gonna set up a virtual film screening or an outdoor in San Pedro. I was asked to do that possibly. So that would be awesome to show it in the big cinema, because it's a beautiful film, and we want to see Sicily in its beautiful form, and it's gorgeous. Beautiful. So that's something we're talking about. So those two things, maybe virtual, but I defer virtual. I prefer live in an outdoor venue with the beautiful music and the beautiful scenery. So we're going to work on that. So I was asked by Amazon. They're talking to me, but I don't want to do it because I'm doing another section, another movie, Ritornato 2. Another continuation of it. So I have that set up. And also I have another script that's, they're all about Sicily. So I'm working my way through. We'll see which one comes first, but hopefully we can do something.
So number one is pretty much about a young man going back to find where he's from, right? To sort of seal the hole in his heart a little bit, right? But what about number two? What is that about? I didn't realize that you were doing a second.
Two is more about, do I stay or do I go? What's the decision in my life? What's my life about? What's my life? Who am I? More not about now finding something, but who am I? Me. Where do I go? Where's my place in the world? So I'm working on that. It's pretty tremendous, pretty funny, and it'll be all there. It'll take place there in Sicily. So I'm really excited to do that with my same crew, my same cast. Santa Teresa, Limina, Turi, Federico, tutti, cast and crew, technical. All you guys will be back with me again. It'll be out of my pocket, I'm sure, unless somebody can help me finance it. But either way, we'll get it done. And then there's another film that I have that I'm working on. That's a tremendous subject that I won't talk much about now. But in the future, we'll talk about it. But I'm really, really proud of it, and we're getting down to that. So I just finished that script. So, we got to keep pushing. We got to push our culture, and with people like you, we can't lose. I mean, if we have the word, you're putting us out there, and I appreciate it very much. All I can say to everybody out there that follows me or follows Ritornato the movie or is Sicilian or Italian, guys, give back to our culture. Go back and find your roots. Go back and find the story about you. I'll help you. We'll all help you. We're here together, and that's what we need to do. So let's go. New generation.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, how can people get in touch with you? Because I'm sure you've got a lot of fans out there who are watching that. They're like, oh my gosh, him. So how can people?
I get that a lot.
What?
Deborah, I get that a lot because I was off the grid for a long time, and my wife says, "Honey, you need to get on Instagram." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "Because this Cobra Kai thing, everybody's talking about the Karate Kid, and you're a star from the next Karate Kid." I said, "Okay." So she put me on the grid with Instagram, so you can reach me at Ritornato the movie if you want to talk about Ritornato the movie. Ritornato underscore the movie, the score. So she's correcting me. She's right.
Of course.
Then the next Karate Kid obviously they're connecting it to Cobra Kai now because all the young kids that are now going back to watch the next Karate Kid and all the original Karate Kids. So now they're all contacting me on Instagram and Facebook. Fun. So it's been amazing. I've been talking, like I said earlier, London, Italy, Mexico City, everywhere about this stuff. So I'm looking forward to talking with them more. So you can find me there. Facebook, you can find me. Michael Cavalieri on Facebook. You can write to me. I'll write back to you. It would be an honor to talk to you about anything you want to talk about, not about me. What do you want to talk about? Maybe you want to talk about your culture. I just had a young boy on one of the Instagrams, and he told me he was from India. And I said, have you been there? He goes, no. I said, well, you need to go. Yeah. He goes, you're right. He goes, I need to go. I said, we all need to go. So
those are the magic words. We need to go. Because you learn, even if you're not completely into it, once you get there, wherever you're from, wherever your people came from, it's everything. A lot more makes sense, right? It makes sense about you, about your parents, grandparents. You just have to go and experience it. Michael, I'm so excited that you came on. It's really an honor and a pleasure to interview you again, right? In a different way.
Many years ago, Deborah. Many years ago, right?
That was a great film, though.
We still look the same, though. Don't we still look the same?
No, I think we look better. What about that?
That's what I was trying to get.
Yeah, no, I think we look a little bit better. We're a little more relaxed, right? It's like we've got a little life under us. So why not? So congratulations to you for all the success. Everybody look it up because it's going to be here soon. Ritornato. We're going to be showing that sometime down in Little Italy and San Pedro.
I'm depending on you, Deborah, to get me on the drive-in. It's on you now. I put it out there. It's on you.
No, I will talk to everybody about it. Are you kidding me? Stuff like this is what we do. So it would be a great honor. So thank you so much. Hello to your wife, Michael Cavalieri. And when are you headed back to Sicily? When are you able to head back to Sicily, actually, to start part two?
When you go, well, I'm going when you're going. When this pandemic's over, I'll be there. I was supposed to be there, obviously, for film festival that I couldn't go to, which I'm upset about, but I won't mention. But I'm going back as soon as this is over. I'll be back. So hopefully by April or May, we're there, and we're going to spend the summer there and work. And then you'll come over and visit.
Yeah, all right? I certainly will. Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for watching the Little Italy of Los Angeles podcast and the Little Italy of LA Association. We welcome all of you. Join us this weekend down there for the outdoor drive-in films. And we'll let you know when Michael's film is going to be featured as well. You can find us everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, iHeart, just anywhere you get your podcasts and your visual podcasts, you'll find us. My name is Deborah Zara Kobylt, and I appreciate you very much for joining us. Bye-bye.